Come in.
Hey Kelly, it's Drew from Salesforce.
Hey,
Great to see you again. Here's my business card. I know we exchanged them last time, but just keep that for safekeeping.
Perfect, I will.
So I'm happy we could find the time to meet together again. Had a great time with you last time. Now we can get down to business here. Per our previous discussion, I talked to some employees at APC. Some of your customers conducted research, and also I looked at some of the industry numbers. I've hypothesized some potential problems and questions that I would like to discuss with you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm happy you came prepared with some questions.
Amazing. So, do you think any other team members should be present before we start?
No, I think for today, just me is fine. Maybe
Okay.
off in the future we'll bring in some others, but...
Okay, sounds good. So, we have about 20 minutes blocked off for today, right?
Yeah, 20 minutes, actually, yeah.
Okay, and is it okay if I take some notes as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd just like to make sure that we're all on the same page, as well as, make sure that I have enough information going on forward.
Yeah, I'm glad you're reading through it. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So, just wondering, you look a little bit young. How long have you been with Salesforce?
Yeah, so while I may be young, I have about 2.5 years of Salesforce under my belt. I'm actually in the top 10 of Salesforce performers in the past year.
Awesome. That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Well, don't worry about anything. You're in good hands, even though I may be a little bit young. So I know APC has operations all over the world. Now, do you notice any problems with the current tracking system that affect the logistical burden of having such a large marketplace?
Yeah, our tracking system actually has had a few problems. It's a bit outdated, and our company really has just outgrown it. It's simple to say. Our reps have their info all over the place. They've got customer info written down on sticky notes scattered throughout the office, cluttered filing cabinets, even some information just in their own heads. And we really need to focus on, kind of streamlining that information.
Yeah, I could see why having all this information all over the place definitely creates a big problem for you. And you know what? This problem is a lot more common than you would actually think.
Okay.
From my work with clients similar to APC, a lot of money can be left on the table when problems like this arise. Now, according to my numbers, you have about 661 accounts. Is that correct?
Yes, 661, yep.
Okay, and about $98 billion in revenue for 2017?
Yeah, around there. It's a little hard to say exactly what it is, but that sounds about right.
Okay, and just doing some simple math here, that would mean that your average account brings in close to about 150 million, give or take?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Okay, that's great. So my research also tells me that ABC actually lost 10 accounts this last year. Is that correct?
So we did have some trouble in the last year, but it's actually looking more like 25 accounts.
Oh wow, that's a big hit to your business. So let's just do some quick math here. So about losing 25 accounts, costing about 150 million, carry the one, that's about $3.75 billion in lost revenue.
Yeah, that's a lot. Sounds like a lot more when you put it like that.
Yeah, it is. Now, did you notice a common theme as to why any of these customers left APC?
Yeah, so one thing that I did notice was that they were saying a lot of their orders were late. Now, being a multinational level organization, it's imperative to our logistical system that, we're not losing money, really.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely widespread across a bunch of nations. You're doing business all over the place. Now, do you think the customer data system plays a role in that as well?
I would say it definitely does, because I can see how it would be annoying to hear from a ton of reps in the same week. You're never getting that same rep contacting you. You don't build that relationship. And really, when orders are being, shipped late, arriving late, that can get frustrating, especially when you're not communicating with that same rep.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed when you lost accounts is that most of them were actually international. Now, have you noticed this trend, and can you expand on it a little bit?
Yeah, so our sales team said it was pretty challenging communicating across, different countries, especially with language barriers. It's something that we've faced great difficulties in. And it's definitely been difficult as far as communicating with our manufacturers and our clients in other countries. The late orders definitely are not helping at all.
Yeah, I can understand how the language barriers can definitely create a big problem here. So I understand APC had a recent campaign to try and regain some of the ground in the international market. Now, when I spoke to some of your project managers that were on that team, they said it was not very successful, and that you actually lost money on it. Why do you think that is exactly?
Yeah, that was actually pretty frustrating because there was really no real system in place, to check if we were on target to reach the campaign goal or to recognize which reps, were pushing for new business, and we definitely had a lot of difficulties there.
Yeah, I can see why not being able to see what reps are doing well and which aren't can be a major problem. It makes a lot of sense to me. Now, is it true that the company spent about $2 million on that project?
Yeah, that's true.
Now, would you say that you only generated about $500,000 in revenue?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of a tough break there.
Yeah. So would you say that, the lack of system doesn't help you see the growth?
Yeah, I definitely would. Basically, with the revenue dispute, because of the lack of system, like you said, we weren't able to see the growth. But we did spend $2 million, and we weren't able to see that ROI that we would have liked to see.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, a good idea, just not executed with the right system.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm here, to help you out with something like that. And I really hope this helps you. Now, I talked to some of the sales reps about that campaign, and they made it pretty clear to me that some of them were pretty unhappy with the situation, and that some even left the company. About how many reps did you lose?
We lost about 10 reps. Several of them were with us for a few years, so that was, pretty devastating. They actually took some of our accounts with them as well, which was pretty frustrating.
Wow, so not only did you lose experienced employees, you also lost some business as well from that. That's gotta hurt. Now, has APC onboarded your new reps yet?
We're currently working on the process right now, but as you know, it's a difficult process, onboarding and training.
Okay. And is it true that you're onboarding about 10 new reps?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, I gotcha. Now, my research tells me that APC spends about $500,000 on onboarding new reps.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? The number is actually closer to $750,000.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty big difference than what I gained. So you take about 10 reps times $750,000. That equals out about $7.5 million. Now that's a really large investment to be onboarding the reps that left.
Mm-hmm.
Now my research also tells me that it takes about 2 whole years to see the return on investment for a new rep.
Yeah, well, I never really thought of it that way, and you're right, that is a huge investment on time and, really just focusing on onboarding those new reps. The managers could really be coaching employees, spending that time generating new business, assisting the sales team and the sales process rather than focusing on onboarding those new reps. So it really is a huge waste of time that could have been easily prevented if there was a better system in place at the time.
And every company definitely wants to be more efficient with their time and resources as well. Now, I know government deregulation of the oil industry must have led to growth for your business domestically, and also the market potential out there is tremendous right now. Now, have you experienced a lot of growth?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of growth that we've experienced, and we're also projecting a lot of more growth in the future.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier that the logistical congestion has caused problems as well as the lack of storage of your customer data. Now, I also know some of your competitors are actually gaining a larger market share than APC.
Yeah, our customers are really leaving us not because our product isn't superior, but rather because the orders are late and the customer service isn't quite at the best that it could be. Yeah,
and I've definitely heard a lot about your product and how great it is. They definitely like it over the other companies. Hopefully we can get that customer service issue figured out. Now, I know the market potential right now is around $750 billion. And like you said, your buyers do say the product is superior, so there's no reason you shouldn't have a larger chunk of the pie.
Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. And we really do need to change our current CRM system to have more growth, if that's what we were looking for. There's so much money being left on the table because of our current system, and talking with you has really shown me that. You did the math right in front of me. It was easy for me to see, and you mapped it all out. I was just wondering, what's the total amount of our loss that we're throwing away right now?
Okay, so we take that $7.5 million, add the $2 million, and then we got that big whopping $1.5 billion you're losing. So that turns out about $1.51 billion.
Oh wow, that's a lot larger than I had foreseen.
Yeah. Now let me show you a little bit about what Salesforce has to offer.
Awesome.
So do you mind if I open this up here and show you some of Salesforce's features?
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that.
Awesome. So you mentioned that your account information is all over the place. You definitely need a better way to store all that data.
Mm-hmm.
Sales Cloud here stores all the customer information in place and gives you insight into customers and gives you alerts about leads.
Wow, I mean, that's fantastic. That's honestly exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that the orders were backed up and slow. Now look at this tracking system up here. It gives you real-time reports of the order, so you can keep track of everything that's going on in one consolidated place.
Perfect.
Yep. You also mentioned the concern about the failed international program. I know that was a big hit, and you definitely want to regain from that. Now these dashboards right here allow you to see if you're reaching the numbers and also measure how your reps are performing.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is amazing. I really wish we had this when we were working on that last campaign. Maybe we might have been able to retain the reps that we lost, if only we had met before this.
Yeah, and definitely being able to track the performance of your reps will be able to pinpoint your weak spots as well as kind of choose who can be a mentor to the not as good sales reps there. Another cool thing about Salesforce is that it comes in 20 different languages, and that can definitely break down that language barrier that you mentioned earlier.
Perfect. Well, that's something that we were very interested in. Well, this is great. This is exactly what we really needed, and I wish that we'd only met earlier. I was just wondering, how much is this going to cost in total?
Okay, so for a company of your size, it usually costs around $1 million to install, and then about $10,000 to train the employees on it. Now that's on a per employee basis. There's about 150 sales employees, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So you're training us on the software as well?
Yes,
okay.
We do.
Perfect.
And we're very hands-on with implementing it as well.
Oh, this just gets better and better.
Yep.
Well, here, let me tell you what. It sounds like this is exactly what we need. And, you've mapped everything out, walked me through the system, shown me exactly how it's going to help our problems. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to schedule a meeting with one of our CEOs. How does this Friday around noon sound?
Sounds great
Grab
to
lunch,
me.
discuss it, and, if you bring the same presentation, tell them everything you've told me, I think we've got a deal. Does that sound good?
Yep, I'll be free. I'll be there.
Perfect. We'll see you Friday.
Yep.
Thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.